Right, so I'm making a game for my daughter called Sophia's Boutique. So you're going to see this folder kind of pop up, but our main focus is going to be outside of here. So actually, let's just create another folder actually in here and call it Quiz Game. And then we'll put our art, scene, scripts, and this new folder, which we'll reuse somewhere else inside of here. So let's go back to our canvas here, select background image, and I'm going to make my color white. And for sprite here, I'm going to click the button and it's going to give me access to all of those different GUI elements here. And you could see them pop up on the screen. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, these are mostly buttons, I believe. Let's see if we could find a nice background. I think it's this one right here, GUI 27. I'll stick with the green. Green's kind of cool. I'm sure they have an orange or different color backgrounds. You could also double click it and open it in Photoshop. But yeah, I'm just going through all this. There's also something else that's kind of annoying is I don't like that it's named GUI. So you can actually expand your original artwork here and, you know, like, let's see, we go to sprite here and then we click on this, it expands it for us. Now, here's what's interesting. You click on it and you're like, okay, well, let's just tab up. You can see we've got all these banners. How do I rename these, right? You're like, this is kind of strange. So you right click and you're like, okay, there's no rename option. That's where you have to import those 2D assets that we talked about. So you go to window and you go to package manager here. And what you'll see is if we go to Unity registry here. So if you're using Unity 2022, 23, you'll see that you have to select Unity registry up here. And you go down here, it says 2D 8 packages, import including multiple layered Photoshop, blah, blah. We don't necessarily need all of those 8 packages right now. So if we go to 2D sprite here, because we're not doing any animation, I don't want to bloat our project up. And we have pixel perfect. This is, you know, for cameras, it explains it. But this sprite one says use Unity sprite editor window to create and edit sprites. This is another way of installing this right here, where it's like prompting us that we need to install this. It's this package here. So you could either click this one or you can click here for install and let that install. All right, now that we installed it, we know it installed it successfully because it says remove. And we have open sprite editor here. So if I click on this, you can see this is set to multiple. It's really this image just duplicated into this folder. And they set it to multiple. And then in the sprite editor here, you can see that they cut it up. And we'll get into cutting it up if you haven't taken where we create the RPG, where we actually did cut up our own. We'll do that in another game. But right now, this is the one I'm most interested in, GUI 27. So I'm going to just name this GUI Big Background. And then up in the corner, I'm going to hit apply. And now you'll see when I scroll down through here, at the bottom, we have GUI Big Background. So if we go to background image here, I can just grab this and just drop it inside of here. Boop. And now there's our GUI Big Background. And it should scale. See how it's scaling up and down depending on the screen size. And I think that looks pretty good. And it says image type simple. I don't think this is a sliced image. If I turn this on, sliced image means it's already cut up for us. I think it's just a simple image, and I'm okay with that if it looks a little bit stretched for now. Something else I like to do often is, because I get a lot of crashes, just because it's the nature of software, regardless if it's Blender, Maya, whatever, is inside of version control, just go in here and type in first, check in. I like to just check in my files into version control so I can access them again. It says there's one operation code running. Please wait until it is finished. I wonder what that could be. So I'm just going to hit Control S to save. Well, actually, let's go ahead and do File, Save As. And just inside of Quiz Game Scenes, I'll name this Level 1. Level underscore 01. Hit Save. Now we might have to reset. It looks like, oh no, it worked that time. Yeah, it checked it in, but yeah, so you would do something like, you know, and then don't worry about this deleted items. I usually collapse that and add it in private. I'll leave open and you'll see your stuff pending changes show up in here. So for example, if I move this over a notch and I hit Control S, see how it popped up into changing items, and then I can check in those changes. And you generally want to name this, especially if you're working on a team. All right, so let's undo this, save it. And then I'm going to wait a little bit to check in because I didn't really do anything. Right, so let's take a look at how we can adjust some text here. I'm actually going to delete this image here because it doesn't match. And, I mean, I guess, what we can do is change this image out as well. So let's go back in here and back into GUI here, click on Open Editor. And I want this to be my banner, which might sit a little bit too, it might be too close to it. So again, maybe I'll make a video on how we can edit this. But instead of this, I'm going to name this GUI banner. And I'm going to apply that. And then inside of my background image here, I'm just going to go down, scroll down, grab GUI banner. And oops, we want this image here. I'll drop GUI banner in there. Boom. And then what I'm going to do here is hit R. And I'm just going to scale that in a little bit. Something like this. And hit W to move that down. And there's our quiz banner. And I want to make sure that on the y-axis, I'm going to hit 0 here. Oh, well, I guess that's fine. Make sure the left and the right are zeroed out so it's dead center. And move it down a little bit this way. And then for my text here, my quiz game, let's bring this down a little bit. And we could adjust our font size. Now what we're going to do is use Google Fonts or something. And we'll get a much nicer font than my quiz game here. Something else that's cool is you could adjust the color of your font. Like we can go with a purple, kind of have it stand out a little bit. We could make it bold, things like that. All caps. So it's got some pretty good features in here. And you could also add like an outline. If you want to your text, then we could make that like a white outline. You could adjust the thickness of that outline. But let's focus on creating a font or getting a font and then editing it. So let's take a look. I think that's pretty much, yeah, let's go ahead and jump to our favorite browser. Right, so we are on Google Fonts, and you can see they have a bunch of stuff here. You could also just, let's see, just find one. This one looks pretty fun for our quiz game. But in here, you could type in game and just see what comes up. Looks like nothing. Let's see. The sort by trending, I guess, most popular. They have some stuff newest. So we can click on newest. Here's the newest fonts they have. Just scroll through. I don't necessarily like their search feature. I wish it was searched by like, here's like some appearance ones, but Techno's kind of cool. How does that one look? Let's see. I wish they had like, you could type in game and it would be anything that looks like a video game. This one kind of does, right? But it's really up to you. I like that. Oh, here's holidays. That's kind of cool. All right, so I'm going to, so here's Google Fonts. You hit Browse Fonts. It's fonts.google.com. And then I'm just going to use this one. So go ahead and click on this and then hit Get Font. And then what I want to do is click Download All. And I'm just going to click on Save As and spare you the time, depending on your browser, and just save it on my desktop and then unzip it. All right, so once you download your font, you'll see that there's a couple folders. It's AGU display. These are just different fonts depending on the systems. There's a README file that'll kind of explain to you what it's used for, how to install it on your PC or your system. For me, like, I can go to Pixelfy, and then you could actually double click the font. I don't know if this is possible inside of a Mac, where you could just double click it and then it'll pop up. What I want to do is AGU display, and then I'm going to click on this. You can see this is the font that I want. And if I wanted to install this font on my PC, I can click install here and it'll install it right into my Windows system. Now for my project here, generally what I'll do is, in TextMeshPro, they actually have a fonts folder here and they only have the one in there. So what I do is I grab this true type font file, this one right here, not necessarily this static one, right? If static is fine. It's a different type. And actually, what we might do is you could grab both and just bring them inside your project, depending on, I'm not sure which one might work for Mac. I'm assuming both, but go ahead and drag that in. So now we have a font here, and you could see it registered it as a font. When I click on liberation, it shows you the same. If I go in there, just make sure the settings are pretty much the same between the two. You don't have to edit anything. Now, if I go up to window here and I go to TextMeshPro, you can see I have to go to this font asset creator here. And this will actually create a font that we can use for our project. Because just dragging it in, if I go to my text here, you'll see that, and I go to change it here, that font doesn't appear in here. So you want to grab this and just drop it into our font creator here, and then just hit generate font atlas, and then just hit save. And then here's TextMeshPro fonts. I'm just going to go ahead and hit save. And you'll now see that we have this fonts file here, right? Now, if I close this and I go back to TextMeshPro here, I can click on this and I can actually select this font thing. And you can see my quiz game appears. Now I could adjust the size here, something like this, maybe my quiz game. But I don't want it to be too crazy because, and actually maybe we come up with a better name than my quiz game, but just, I don't know. Quiz dash Atron. I don't know. Forgive me for the lameness, but my game is called Quizatron. All right, and then same thing. You could say I could do italics. It registers the same stuff, bold, and so you could play with these. This is kind of cool. This A/B thing where it makes it all lowercase. That looks cool. All right, so you've imported your own font. Awesome job. Let's make that fit, and we might again. I'm going to make the text a child, or actually, let's make the background image a child of the text. And we're going to, I guess it's just based on, so let's move this here maybe. Oh, that's the problem. Okay, yeah. So let's make the text a child of the image so we can compact this. And we'll name this title image. And this will be title text. All right, save your scene. Actually, something else that might be cool is I'm going to go turn this back to white. And I'm going to turn on color gradient. And what you can do, which is kind of nice, is you can adjust the color so it's like purple at the top, and then you could see this is that corner. So I can just kind of sample this exact same color here. So now it's all the way across. And then maybe at the bottom, I don't know, it's maybe a darker green. How does that look? So something like that. And I believe there is a drop shadow or something. Here's outline. Let's see. That outline will look bad, but kind of lets it pop. But we kind of lose it a little bit if we go too crazy with the outline. Underlay, I think, is my drop shadow here. Let's turn that on. And softness. Yeah, so this can give it... The problem with these drop shadows is they were so heavily used in the 90s that... And then... Yeah, we'll do normal. So that kind of let it pop out a little bit. That it kind of killed the mood, the look of it. But anyway, there's a bunch of other cool effects. There's like glow, make our font glow, and you can do outer glow and then 0 on inner glow, so that makes it like glow, and then we could have it glow purple. So just stuff to make it pop out. Quizatron. All right, so save that. All right, if you want to pause the video, what I would like you to do is create another canvas. So this one is called background canvas. And then what I'd like you to do in here is right click and then go to UI. And I want you to create another canvas. And within this, I want you to add TextMeshPro. And this is where our quiz is going to happen. So if you want, pause the video and go ahead and do that. All right, so let's go to canvas here. We're going to name this quiz canvas. And then within this, I'm going to right click, go to UI, and add another TextMeshPro object. All right, so for this, I'm just going to, instead of new text, I'm going to type, hi, how are you? Because this is going to be where, and you can see it here. And what I want to do is you could see that it is, let's see, my canvas here is not appearing in my view, even though it's appearing here. So what I could do is for sort order here, I can say, okay, I'm going to do 50 and hit enter, and it'll put that on top of this canvas, which is the back canvas. And so I'll leave this one at 0 because I want this background to be always there. Now for this text, I'm going to name this quiz text. And I'm going to just extend out these two sides. Again, I'm just going to look at this because that's the center point, and I'm going to bring it up this way and just bring this down. And then, I'm not sure yet until we get it all visible, but we can just put it in the center there for what our text is going to be. So something like this, hi, how are you? And then I could just increase this font size and we'll adjust it later. But this is just going to represent where our question is going to go. And then down here, we'll have buttons that'll answer that. I think that's good for this lesson. A little bit of more advanced stuff with TextMeshPro. All right, I'll see you in the next lesson.